Welcome back to Basic Gaming, or I guess more commonly known as just an unscripted video. That's it. So as you can see from the title, I've been keeping tabs on this brand new Plants vs Zombies game. That's not really brand new, it's a remaster of the OG game. So after all this time, we have been waiting for something new from Popcap. And the newest game in the Plants vs Zombies franchise is still Plants vs Zombies 1. Alright, sure, I guess. I mean, if they can do it justice, then sure, I don't mind it. And from what I've seen, there's like some discussion. People are discussing this, like, you know, brand new Plants vs Zombies game. You know, the PVZ fans are overall, I wouldn't say necessarily excited, but from what I've seen, many are glad that, you know, Plants vs Zombies is like getting brand new games. And you know, I'm as a Plants vs Zombies fan myself, yeah, I can agree. I'm happy that they still make games. There's also some discussion that, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's not valid, because I do think at the end of the day it's valid. People are allowed to think this, but I feel like most people are a bit too harsh on this. Like, okay, let me put it this way. Since 2019, which was the year that Battle for Neighborville, people didn't like Battle for Neighborville, okay? So, like, it wasn't particularly a well-received game. And so since 2019, Popcap has been struggling to not only just release a new game in general, but also just to make a good game. So like, we have Battle for Neighborville, and then there's also the Plants vs Zombies 3 fiasco. Basically, they're just like making new versions of PVZ 3 and they're just throwing them in the bin because they're not good enough, I suppose. And now suddenly, we are greeted with a 4K remaster of the original Plants vs Zombies. Sure, I think that's fine, and I think the price tag, depends on who you're asking. I myself don't really mind that much. I've seen many people just call this like a shameless cash grab, blah 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 blah. Basically yapping that, you know, it's the end of Plants vs Zombies and Plants vs Zombies is dead after this. I feel like people are just exaggerating a bit too much with this. Read the room. We are fans of a pretty much a dying franchise at this point, because they're struggling to do something. Now, I'm not saying that Popcap shouldn't, you know, try to be better, but if this is the best they can do, and at their worst this game ends up being just mid and pretty lazy remaster, alright, then I don't see like the big massive issue. $20 is not that expensive, really. There's also just people complaining about other shit, like for example cabbage pulled and the main menu, or I don't know, loading menu, whatever. It's like, it's not the PVZ1 version, like the design, it's the PVZ2 design. Now, I get this, but if you're asking me, I kinda like the PVZ2 design better than the PVZ1. PVZ1 cabbage pull looks like shit, not gonna lie. I never liked his design. But PVZ2, well, that's a definitive upgrade. And if you're asking me, I think it's looking pretty good in the original art style of Plants vs Zombies. I think they did a good job with that. Now, yes, there's also the shit that, you know, they didn't contact the original team for this. I'm like, this is just like normal stuff that's happening. Is it a shame that they didn't do it? Yeah, that's kind of a shame, especially since from what I've seen, yeah, the OG team would love to work on this and provide new assets, or well, higher quality assets or something. Well, this is the reality. The game's like, what, 1 month away? Like next month it's launching. It's like releasing the game. So that's a bit late for that, honestly. Especially in general, where just most of the remasters that we see today don't feature like the OG team, or not just remaster, but remakes as well. Like very rarely I have seen people from the original game work on like a remake or a remaster of the very same game. So while it's a shame that, well, they didn't bother to contact them, I feel like that shouldn't even be a surprise at this point. It's just industry standard. Shame, really, but who are gonna blame? There's also been some discussion about the Limbo mini games. Now, In case you guys didn't know, from what we've seen from the very little footage that has been provided from not even like the current build of the game, that in this specific video with the interview and shit like that, it's like, what are we doing here? That was kind of strange in my opinion. But anyways, besides that, yeah, apparently the bonus levels that were in just the trash can there in the screenshots that we've seen are the limbo page minigames, and famously known as minigames that we couldn't play, but you know, they were there and they were incomplete. And I've seen people say that, you know, that's, what the fuck are they gonna do with this? Basically it's gonna be like a shit show, blah 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 blah, and that, you know, it makes no sense to do this because these are supposed to be, well, some of them are supposed to be like joke games, you know. And I'm just sitting like, well, isn't that even more interesting, more intriguing? Like, if these are supposed to be like joke or just unfinished scrapped mini games, imagine what they could have done with it. Like, how can they turn it into an actual minigame? That sounds interesting to me. I am excited to see that in action. So Cloudy Day and Rest in Peace are also like brand new things. And from what I've seen, they're like treated as their like own, I think own separate thing sounds more better. Like with like a set amount of levels. So far, we only know that there's like 9 Cloudy levels at least. From what I've seen, it kind of looks interesting, not gonna lie. One thing that I do wish though is that we could have combined Cloudy Day and Rest in Peace and, you know, maybe played those in the main campaign. That could have spiced up a little bit. That would have been fun. Brand new levels for extra mode. We don't even know how many levels, but we know there's at least 9, so I'm holding out that maybe there's more than 10, hopefully. But if not, then that's fine. It's an idea. And I'm kind of intrigued in that, especially Rest in Peace mode. I don't think that's treated like a actual regular separate world. It's just like you flip the switch, because there's like a switch, and then I guess you activate the hard mode of the game, so you can play the entire game in hard mode. And I think that's kind of neat in a way. We haven't seen much of Rest in Peace, and I hope that there's like a visual change to indicate that yes, you're currently playing the hard mode of this. We have also seen like brand new animations for zombies as well, like their heads and like the arms, they like falling a bit differently, like particle effects for planting also seem a bit different. One point of contention that I will agree on is that the head and arm falling animations, I feel like they could be a little bit faster because they feel a bit too slow. But otherwise, I welcome this. I think that's kind of neat in a way. And from what I've seen, they also twitch, like the fingers. Another huge point of contention from what I've heard is that the lack of online, which I agree with this 100%. Local co-op and PvP is cool and all, but why not have those be online as well? Not everyone is gonna have, you know, the opportunity to play with it locally, so just having an online option would be nice and all. That's pretty much it. Also, there's like behind the scenes art or something, and I'm kind of a bit curious about it because we haven't seen nothing about it, so it's like they're treating it as a surprise of some kind. There's also this like in the survival, I don't remember exactly, but basically it's China. It's the China level. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if that means we'll get Chinese like mini games and shit like that from the Chinese version of Plants vs Zombies. If that happens, that would be cool. But I think my biggest grievance so far has been like, yeah, I mean, limbo page minigames, that's cool and all. They reimagine it in a brand new ways, but like, if they're gonna claim that this is like the definitive version of Plants vs Zombies, I wish they could have looked at every version of Plants vs Zombies and just take pretty much everything from them. Like all the minigames from each version, blah 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 blah. Yeah, like you get the gist. That's kind of a shame, and I wish they could have done that. Who knows, maybe they'll do that in the future. I mean, I'm not sure if they will do that actually. They did say no DLC, no microtransactions in the game, which is nice. So is it gonna be like free updates? Well, we're going to wait and see. But for now, I hope they show more because I feel like they're being a bit too secretive. So, especially we're closing in on the launch of Plants vs Zombies Replanted, so I hope that we see more. I don't know, something like an extended overview trailer and showcases exactly what's going to be in it. Maybe, who knows, maybe they have something up their sleeves and they're going to show us a surprise. I'm kind of hopeful in a way. I'm trying to be optimistic here, okay? I don't want to see this franchise die off like that. Well, mainly I don't want this franchise to die off with Plants vs Zombies 3, because that's a pretty sad way to die. So if we're getting more games after Replanted, that's fine and dandy. If the franchise dies with Replanted, not a bad way to go off, if I do have to say so myself. But hopefully this leads into a PC port of Plants vs Zombies 2. Can that happen, please? Thank you very much, actually. So yeah, I'm basically just a bit optimistic. It's fine if you think like this is a bit subpar, I guess. But at the end of the day, while yes, we should expect Popcap to do better, I feel like they have been struggling to do better, and if there anything is to go by, I think this is like their best attempt at trying to get better at doing this. So I'd say we should give them a chance, and if they fuck it up, it's over. PVZ is dead. If Replanted ends up being actually kind of good, or just at the very least a serviceable remaster, we might see something more in the future, which I kind of hope. So yeah, this was Based Gaming. I won't be uploading as much as I'm not that I was uploading much. High school is starting again for me, so it's gonna be a bit shaky, but I'm gonna do my best. So yeah, Based Gaming is out. Later.